Yeah. Yeah. Going on.
Oh, there's a decent amount of people that are watching. That's really nice.
4?
5, which is 4 off my ideal, but you know, of 61.
61.
Welcome back, everybody. Going.
Nothing at all. Thank you for asking.
How are you, Tom?
Me, recently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
how
good.
Are you?
Good. Yeah.
Are you afraid? Are you? Why is Broden asked me how I am?
Yeah, because no one asked me when you're not here. No one asked me how I am, Marnie.
I surely asked you how you are.
No, I was not expecting. I've come in here tonight to listen to news from Marnie and the Japan from Broden.
And you're just like, how am I?
I will not be speaking tonight.
Well, that's good. I'm watching from Kyoto. This your show.
Well, how was
fun?
it? Was it weird watching?
It was very educational for me. A lot from it. I was with you for the hour. The main thing I took away, the main area of improvement is we really need to fix your frame.
Why?
I hate this shit.
Yeah, but this is you put baby in the corner, right? Like I could sit next to Marnie over there. But
Yeah.
That can be the improvement of season 3.
I thought you liked it because you put a little sign up
Put you
and
over
everything.
there.
You put the Tom sign
It's just
up.
fucking shit. Like it's and just lighting to you a bit more. I thought it's just because this is so premium. Also, this shit we got this.
That's completely our fault
Pissed
too.
me
So
off to no end.
completely our fault.
It's so upsetting to me. Like 'cause it looks so premium, and just with the way the light and these cameras take it, the white things. It's like draws the eye. So Marnie's saying something very interesting about football, probably. But the eye is just drawn to this little thing.
I feel like that. Yeah, noticed before, but good eye for it, Broden.
I was just watching because I was watching it on a.
But yeah, that's us smashing stuff into the wall.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
I guess we could invest in painting over it.
But just because it's our fault, why is it our problem? Do you understand?
It's wear and tear on the venue. But also, I think the whole podcast has been designed to shoot one way.
But there's a camera over there that's shooting directly.
It's true.
Do we? That's you.
Yeah, that's me.
So I reckon that says something like "fuck" or "footy" or "pill."
I could just come where our lovely guests sit over there.
I love the live cutting element of it. It's nice to be able to, you've got this shot and we're talking, and then to be able to go and there's Tom, but just you're in the darkness there.
Yeah, that's where I was put.
No, but
I just wanted to sit in between you two.
That just needs a bit of oomph. And in the chat, it is choppy, but is the sound okay?
The sound's always okay, I think. But yeah, we've been dropping frames all day. Internet in Brunswick shit today. Couldn't even load YouTube on my phone.
I would take choppy with no white dots on the wall every day of the week.
Yeah, we're only dropping 1% of frames, guys. That's only 2 every second. So
That
come on.
sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it's plenty.
The other person here is Marnie. Hi, Marnie.
Hi, Marns.
Now, we'll get into more important stuff, but tell me about these acrylics.
My nails?
Yeah.
Well, they're not acrylics, they're Gel X. And usually I get...
the fuck out of here.
I know. Usually I get Gel X put on and then Builder Gel put on top of that so they don't break. But I got these, they just did Gel X to make them like thin.
What are you talking about? What is a Gel X?
So Gel X are they're gel nails that they stick on, because also like I have to get fake ones because I bite and pick my nails. It's my worst habit.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm working on a piece, I will like rip my nail. It's disgusting and they'll bleed. It's so gross. So I get fake ones to stop me doing that.
Do you ever have the urge to be John Butler and just get out slide guitar and pick
it up?
Yeah.
But they break, don't they?
Yes, well, because they're just Gel X now without Builder Gel on top, they're more fragile. And so I had to get Tom to open a Mentos packet for me today. And he goes, come on, Marns. And then I asked him to open my can of iced tea. And I was like, you're okay, you.
Sometimes when my nails
I'm just a little girl.
Sometimes when my nails are marginally a little too long and I'm typing, it's the most disgusting feeling in the world to me. The idea of my nails are touching the keys
Oh, my God.
to my finger. Don't worry, it's cold coffee. I got a bit carried away there and I spilt my coffee out of my brand new Godzilla.
Let me know if they're
so
too
cute.
wet to wipe up. And
Yeah,
I'll go
like,
get you some.
he's a wet wipe to wipe up wet.
Yeah, I guess I should go get some paper towel.
I just can't get them out because I have no nails.
Yeah, it does limit things I could do, but also I want to look professional, and I feel like also they're fun and they're cute, right? Like they're a fun thing to do.
Yeah, they're rocking. I've just come from Asia, the Asianas, and there's a lot of big nails out there.
Big nails. Yeah.
I was sitting next to this Japanese lady on the plane yesterday or 3 days ago, and her nails were fucked. Like there was little like key rings almost hanging off.
Yeah, sometimes they do really chunky stuff, which I would find annoying, but
were it culturally more acceptable for a strange gigantic white man to say something to you, I like your nails, then I would have said didn't.
Yeah.
Because she would have thought gigantic white man means me harm. And so I didn't. But the nails are fucking ass.
I do feel like it is such a point of pride for women that care about their nails. Because whenever I if I get like a coffee or whatever, I'll take my coffee and like the barista.
You're writing, you're covering the footy. Maybe you'll get a cappuccino.
Maybe I get a soy cappuccino.
Yeah.
Maybe I get a nice soy latte. I'll often be like, nice nails. And then you always get a really good reception. Like they're always like, oh my God, thank you. Like really, I think care. If they care. If they care. If they don't, they don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great. We are getting choppy audio apparently.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh.
I don't know. I could kill the stream, or we could just hope it improves. Audio is so choppy. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. We either pull the stream or... Because there's no way that I know how to diagnose the issue. In fact, we're not dropping frames at all anymore, so...
Maybe it's improved. Just going to run a speed test. We're just fixing tech stuff here, folks. Yeah.
It's bad.
I'm getting 70 ups now, so that shouldn't be an issue.
Oh.
Some people think it's great.
Oh.
Yeah.
Some people are locking in.
I mean, this computer that is streaming off is doing all right as well. So I don't know.
Let us know if it's improved. Still well choppy, people reckon.
Oh. Are you still running trade? Is it that you've got the live trade as well? Oh, no, that's nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Still has moments improved.
Yeah, I don't know.
Great.
Who are they with here?
I don't know, actually. But we have good internet in general.
I think it comes and goes. We'll just do our best and we apologise.
The only way forward. If it drops out completely, then you'll just have to listen to the pod tomorrow.
Sometimes I wonder if it's at the day, Jim and stuff uploading at this exact time, at the 5 o'clock.
Potentially, yeah. But yeah, we should have enough bandwidth to cover it. That's the idea. But yeah,
I wonder where the problem is.
Well, yeah, I don't know. If it's audio, then I have no idea. It's nothing to do with the internet IMO. If the video is fine, but the audio is choppy, that makes no sense to me. So it would be a CPU issue, I think.
We got to get... I'll suggest in the chat while we set this up, what to do with Tom's frame next year. Something that really makes Tom sing.
Just like a giant...
Remember, you watched an episode where I spoke. Usually I just produce,
No, but you should be speaking. People want to hear from you.
You talk a lot.
Yeah. Calm down. Well, I do when it's me and Marnie, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's just me talking to myself.
Yeah, because the CPU load is pretty high. It's actually at 33%, which
CPU 33, that's really good.
I mean, it's using up a lot of processing power for a very simple stream.
Some people in the chat saying, why can't Tom just sit next to you? And that is entirely inappropriate.
That's what we do on Sunday nights, and, you just have to deal with it.
But it just would not be appropriate. How would you set that up if you sat here?
Yeah, I would just so I would just sit next to Marnie.
I would get like a $30,000 LED wall with like Tom flying around in it.
Yeah, so that's the thing. The only reason I sit over here really is because to operate the computer.
Great.
The computer.
All right, just covering our folks. We are live streaming. There's a shot of Kane Corns live streaming the trade deadline. He's there with Damien Barrett and Callum Toomey, folks. They are live streaming. They're talking. To know what they're saying because we're talking over it, but it is going ahead and we are live covering the AFL trade deadline day coverage here, folks. All seems to be improving. Shall we crack in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing to be done, I don't think.
Here we go. Well, I don't think I've had blueberry.
Is it so sweet? Yeah.
Do love a blueberry butt.
I like that one.
Not a blueberry butt. I like a blueberry.
What's a blueberry butt?
The butt of a blueberry.
Oh, I don't mind a butt of a blueberry.
It's got them round cheeks.
It's kind of just one cheek.
But maybe there's a crevasse in that would make it a blueberry butt. Hard to know, but folks, it's the 17th of October. Traditional ball season. You know how it is. I'm back. Marnie's here. Tom's here. The pill's here. That means it's got to be bounced. Special.
You're back.
Yo, fam. I'm back. Welcome to the footy. What a great week it was without me. The best pod I've ever heard. But now we're back. We're coming to you live as the trade deadline trade show is happening. There is 2 hours left of trading to be done. I'm off a flight from Korea and have had 4 hours sleep and feel a bit fuzzy. Next to me, you know them from the ABC. You know them from this podcast. You know them from Essendon games. It's MV Money Vinyl.
Hello.
What's up, mate?
Not much.
How you rocking it?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, good. Tired, but good.
Congratulations on last week. Well held the helm of
Do you
this
think
show.
so? I had a lot of fun, but I did feel a little bit embarrassed that we talked about Melbourne so much and how bad they were, and all as a way to make jokes at Broden's expense, not at Melbourne's expense.
Sure.
Now Melbourne have gone on a run.
I mean, well, let's talk to that.
Okay.
You both can eat a big shit because you made Melbourne again.
Yeah.
Since that pod, like moments after that pod ended, we beat the outstanding Adelaide Crows in Adelaide on Villiers soil.
Yeah.
And then we won again. So it's 2 wins at the moment.
Yeah.
And just some thanks for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We did that.
Yeah, we did that.
We did that.
We were doing the thing.
Also here is a bloke who he loves bloken.
It's true.
Please welcome Tom.
Hi, everybody. Good, thank you. Thank you for asking.
How are you?
So well, thank you. So happy to be here. Flying to Sydney after this for our Grouse by Grouse Festival, something or other.
What have you been up to the last 2 weeks?
What have I been doing? Not watching as much football, but enjoying the W.
Went to a game?
Went to a game with Marnie. That was really fun. And Lucy from work. We had a great time. Who's listening live right now. Might just pop in at any moment.
Oh, cool.
Was going to bring some paper towel before, but no, I was too quick.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a really fun game, actually. A lot of negativity around it, but I had a really great time. So
Yeah, it was also really cool going with Lucy, and also love that I know that she's listening now because I was going to give her this compliment anyway, but she's my type, like she's like my favorite type of person to do like an activity with.
This is a young person who works in the Auntie Donna offices. Who,
Although,
does all our things for us.
We found out that she's only 21 and now I hate her. Like, I don't want her near me.
I got here today. She was changing a light bulb in her car.
Oh.
I'm 35. I can't do that.
I couldn't do that.
No, she's a very fun, infectious, fun person.
Yes, just so much enthusiasm. And because it was her first AFLW game that she's ever been to. So watching that through her eyes was a lot of fun. She was like, it was a big Easter show vibe.
Yeah.
Because it was the headline Pride game. So there was like a lot of like stalls and a lot of like cheap plastic toys and like stickers and things.
Yeah, fandom in a different way.
Yeah.
We're going to cross live to Broden for the trade radio update. Broden, are you there? Yes, hello, Broden. I'm here. We're just watching on the laptop now that AFL Trade Continental Tires Trade Radio. They are showing hallway footage of men in polos walking around Marvel. They are shaking hands. There are lots of handshaking going on. Obviously, we do not have the sound on, so it just looks like men shaking hands.
Yeah.
Maybe you'd see this at a wedding in the foyer kind of situation, or the foyer of a hotel where maybe there's a function on. But we'll more updates later. Back to you, Broden. Dun 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 dun. Thank you so much. Now, I've just come back from Asia.
Yep.
Which, is Australia Asia? It's the Asiana.
Yeah.
Asiana or Oceania?
Oceania.
What does mean?
No, I don't know.
Geography is not my strong suit.
Yeah.
What
But
is-
because if you think about the Asian Cup, Australia's in that. So
yeah. So are we in Asia?
We are part of the Asian Cup.
Yeah. Well, I've recently got back from some countries that are part of the Asian Cup. And did you guys have any questions for me about my trips?
Yes, I've got so many top 8 foods you ate, top 8 things you did, top 8 places to go next time you're in Japan. What did you like about Japan? What surprised you, and what did you feel like? Oh, I'm surprised that I didn't have this.
What are your top 8 questions for me?
Those.
Well, lucky you asked that, Tom, because I have made a top 8. I just kind of made it a top 8 of shit that I liked in Japan.
Yeah,
and then
great.
I have some. I wasn't in Korea as long as Japan.
No.
But the main top thing I will say is everyone there apparently has been to Japan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You haven't,
No, I don't travel.
but you have.
yeah.
And everyone else has.
Yes.
There's I was like, wow, what a cool thing to experience. But it's like the equivalent of going to Northland. for as in every Australian's been to North. Maybe more Australians have been to Japan than
The
Northland.
Northlands. I feel like that. I feel like everyone's been to Japan who I know. Yeah.
Can I give you? Yeah, please.
No, it's really good to go right now because the yen's quite poor compared to Australian.
We're
dollars.
fucking them.
So,
Yeah. So if you want to go to Japan, go now.
They also have cream sandwiches.
That's trash, but okay.
let's. I can talk to. Well, you
Finally,
be
we're
careful.
getting some
But
Yeah, no.
Information about
By trash, I just mean that I wouldn't
Here's-
eat it.
here's my top take on Japan, and this was said to me by a few locals there when I was there as well, who live there. Is in the 80s. In the 80s, Japan was living in the 2000s, and then they had the tech, and then the 2000s they reached their peak. They are still living in the 2000s as a country. In that there's nothing there now. Like culture, there's so much cool about Japan, but lifestyle wise, everything that was there that was cool about Japan as far as tech stuff is now here. It's like they're like, hey, sushi trains. Like, yeah, we got them at Northland.
Yeah.
And you go to your thing, you put in your little screen, and the food comes to you. It's like, yeah, we have that. We have robot
we have
waiters.
that. Yeah.
One thing that I really value about Australian lifestyle is that I can leave the house with this phone and nothing else now. You still you can in Japan, you still genuinely need your phone for PayWave, you would need a literal card, and you need a literal cash. They're still so on cash, which is why it feels like it's 2004 a
Yeah,
little bit.
right,
There's so much cash going on. But it's very, very good. All right, first thing in the top 8 is
In 8th or in 1st?
this is the one thing that we are still very, very. There's no order.
Well, I don't believe in it then.
Okay, well, this would be number 1 then,
It's
I
like,
guess.
Collingwood finished 12th, basically
Yeah.
premiers.
I'm not going to read them in order. And they're not even the top 8, Tom.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what order,
You've got it. That's your first strike. By 3, I'll be asking you to
Hey,
commit seppuku.
I'm Mr. Shows Up for the Pod. You two are on thin ice with me. Thank you very much.
Why am I on thin ice
You went
with
to
you?
Korea. He went to
Didn't
Japan.
you go somewhere this year for a year?
Nah, I was here for every single
Bullshit.
week.
Dwayne Russell was here for some reason.
Yeah, wait. There was an episode that I had to do without the two of you. So
That's true.
that's a lie.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just
Seppuku for you
joshing.
later.
Yeah.
I'll just do a brief detour. Do you know what seppuku is?
No, I wouldn't feel confident saying what I think it is on pod.
Seppuku is a samurai's honourable death.
Yes, that's
where
what I thought
when
it
you
was.
dishonour yourself, you put your blade into you and you turn it and you commit seppuku. And I read a sign at the Samurai Museum about seppuku as your honourable death. I commit seppuku.
Yeah.
And then in brackets in the Greek translation it says, other people can, but no one would care. And it's not done as a joke. It's just like you could just no one care. But the number one thing Japan still definitely has, and we are living in the dark ages of, is toilets.
Yeah.
The fact, I feel sadness to have left their toilets. You sit on them, they're warm on your bottom. They spray hoses up your ass, but you can pick the severity of the hose, the warmth, but then also it pinpoints. And look, I'm sorry to bring it here on a footy pod on trade deadline day, but it pinpoints your asshole.
Does it really? I've often wondered about that.
High science, it knows, much like a lover, where to hit.
Where to hit? I've got to try one of these things.
No, you can get one in Australia, so for $8,000.
Yeah, they're too expensive.
But for the experience, I think you would consider it because toilets are like $400 in Australia. You can buy a toilet.
But we can get on our friend of the pod, Tuvalu, and just get the portable ones. We've got to give the Tuvalu portable ones a go.
I can't even get into that right now.
It's a whole thing.
But the toilets, they're very good at one person focusing their entire, this is another thing, and focusing their entire life on one thing. Like there was a bar I went to, which was a jazz listening bar where you walked in, you're not allowed to listen, you're not allowed to talk, you just point to the things you want on the menu and just listen, you just sit and listen at a wall of jazz. And
That's awesome.
So, and it's just one guy running this one small bar, half the size of this podcast room. The shit like that's very good. And that extends to, I went to a jazz bar that was similar to that. It was very, very cool. And now let's talk food, Tom.
Okay.
3 best meals. I've had on the trip. I had 3 best meals of my life type situations. Some of the best pizza in the world is there. Went to a place called Sirencan, had the best pizza. The coffee, went to a place called Glitch, had one of the best coffees I've ever had.
So I've been meaning to ask you that because for me, like I'm not a coffee connoisseur, right? So they're all sort of bitter, but some of them are a little more nutty or sweet or whatever. But most of all, it's all sort of the same. So what makes the best coffee ever?
I had a pour over and I had a flat white. I needed to test both, but I waited at a place with a line down the street.
Yeah. That's why I want to know, like, what could possibly be good about it?
There was 3 young, handsome boys running this place. This place was owned in Ginza by a boy called Kyogo. And he mastered the coffee. And he gave me a flat white, and it had no latte art in it. It looked like almost like a coffee you get from a roadhouse. And I was like, why is this so good? And he said, because when you do latte art, it actually doesn't let the coffee properly blend. It was fucking incredible.
That's interesting.
Yeah, you're just getting hints of coffee. It's never actually blending, and it was very incredible.
Was it smooth or was it
smooth as fuck?
Okay.
And it was
bitter? Like coffee's bitter, right?
Smooth.
So not very bitter.
No. If I'm being honest, like it's in the world of almost like Nesquik. It almost tastes like in a way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's making sense.
It's funny that you just like made it sound so good and so elite, being like, and it tastes like Nesquik.
Well, that's in that profile of taste. It's hard for me. I know I was pensive about it, but now let's get to the real deal. So I waited in line. I talked about it last week for a cream sandwich.
Yeah.
Now this is all the rage on the TikToks.
Yeah.
So I show up to this place. I aged out of my way, pretty much $2 Australian cream sandwiches, toasted cream sandwiches.
Yeah.
And I get there, I'm like, fuck, there's no line. First thing in Japan, there's no line for. I walk up, there's an Australian in a Rage jumper. I'm like, get to line. She's like, oh, and someone goes, no, the line's over there. And I look across the road and there's a line down, like a 3-hour line. And I went at full voice in a very respectful city, oh, fuck. And then Giorgio from Kick It Forward recognised me and let me jump line with him.
Incredible.
So I had the cream sandwich, and think like a toasted cheese sandwich, one that you've really focused on and made the bread all crispy and buttery, really like thoughtfully done, equally crispy across. And then filled with cream, sweet cream. But you're not a sweetie person.
Yeah, I know.
Man, your
But
opinion
it just sounds like,
sadly.
but like so heavy.
Yeah.
Like just straight cream.
And you are right. I did feel very ill after this.
Didn't you have to like run to the bathroom?
Yeah, I did. But I made it, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. And then something, you cycled in on your bullseye. And
then you got like the best, really good experience of the toilet.
So I was like, hey, welcome to Japan. Mijing Shrine. Have you been there? Very cool. I'm going to power through. No trade radio was one of the top 8 things. Not a lot of trade radio discussion over there.
No, neither in Melbourne.
Yeah, never with me and Marns.
Yeah, exactly. Train from the airport. Very good. We would never dream of that in Melbourne. In Melbourne, our culture is to wait for an Uber for 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's the culture we have here. That is our history.
Yeah.
The samurai ninja stuff was good.
Yep.
Handsome boys. So in Shinjuku, there's all these young, handsome boys, and you can go to their bars. Young women go to their bars and pay too much for them to be friendly and nice with them. Yeah. So everywhere I'm walking around, there's just these tiny little handsome boys with their hair done and all very beautiful looking boys. My first encounter of Japan for like 5 days was only beautiful little boys who look like they're in BTS everywhere. It was fucked up. And I've heard there's a darker side to that world of like because people are very lonely, but it's just like it's like the female gaze of boys and what masculinity is perceived in Japan is just so different and interesting. But these signs on like giant billboards everywhere of this is the highest earning boy, come see this boy, and just bizarre. And then a fuck ton of Australians.
Yeah, right.
Everywhere.
Like you just ran into them.
everywhere.
I do feel like
Mark.
we're everywhere.
Yeah.
Like wherever
Yeah.
you travel, you'll just find an Australian.
So you ran into Giorgio, but you also ran into Jack Steele, right?
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I should talk about that. I was in Osaka, and well, this is the best part of the story. This is the way to tell it. Walking around Osaka, and then Jack Steele goes to me, "Oi," to me.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, hey, Jack. Yeah, anyway, yeah. I'm Broden." He's like, "No." And then we chatted about for 5 minutes, and he knew who I was.
That's cool.
And I walked
He's
away.
cool.
Yeah.
I was like two white guys, two trained white guys in the middle of Osaka. But he seems like a nice guy.
Yes.
Like
yeah, he
genuinely
is.
nice, yeah. And did you go to an onsen?
Yes.
And how was the experience?
I saw a lot of penises.
Yeah.
Were your tattoos a problem?
Yes, they were. I had to cover the Netflix and the ABC logos on my bottom covered things.
Yeah.
And then I sat in a bath, very small bath that was about 50 degrees.
Yeah.
With my head above water and just cooked.
Yeah.
And then I went into a sauna and I thought I was going to die.
Yeah. That's exactly what it sounds like.
It was good, but
Yeah.
good, but wouldn't recommend. That's enough about this.
What about Mossburger?
Moss burger was also very good.
Yeah. Did you try the rice one or?
No, I just had a normal burger. And ramen was very good as well, I guess.
Yeah. You said ramen.
I've talked too much. This is not why people
Oh, you
are
wouldn't
here.
let me ask you anything off air, so now I've got to get it out.
Yeah, that's true. Never asked a question about Japan. I'll tell you on air.
And I went to Korea and I went to the North Korean border and we went to a thing and we could see over into North Korea and we could see farmers and I could see a soldier. And then one of them looked at me and squinted and then pointed at me and went, "Oh, bounce that pill." And I was like, "Holy shit, you know the post?" Like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, man. Fucking love it, bro." He's like, "I live in North Korea, but it's fucking sick, man." I was like, "You should have come to Brisbane for the tour." fucking stroppy as. I was like, "Thanks for listening." He's like, "No, fucking shit, man." And he's like, "Fucking Trey, is the Rioli thing going to get done?" I was like, "I don't know, man." He's like, "Yeah, have a good one." So just crazy stuff. You wouldn't believe what's happening
insanity.
in the Asian Cup. All right, but now it's time. Why we're here is the news with Marnie Vinell. Folks, but Marnie, you got some news.
Do you think this is the worst trade period that you've been alive for?
I feel like it's these. I feel genuinely that from Brownlow now, most years it's all the same and everyone just forgets.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the Notebook.
I love the Notebook.
Funnily enough, there was in Korea when I was there was a cinema and it translated to laptop. I cried.
funny.
I cried in the laptop.
That's really funny.
But like I feel like everyone forgets that the Brownlow's always upsetting and shit, and
Yeah.
then usually grand finals are a blowout. I'm like, oh, that was a bit flat.
Yeah.
And then usually it comes to trade, and nothing happens, and then a few interesting one happens. Like, when's the last world-changing trade?
So I feel like I agree with you, except it was either last year or the year before that there was like 50 trades and it was pretty fluid.
I
and it
thought
was
last year's was interesting.
Yeah, and it was really good. And it was like, oh, this is great. There's like heaps of movement. Everyone sort of got what they wanted.
What big names?
Yeah, not necessarily giant names or anything, but
there's heaps of movement today. It's happening now.
yeah, it just hasn't been
Yes,
fluid.
but
It's just been
it's
fucking
been like, what?
constipated.
7 days of nothing.
Yeah.
Much like constipation. It is constipation. We should call it constipation
Yeah,
period.
a
Because
constipation week.
it's a lot of nothing happening and then at the last moment it all happens.
Yeah, I just want a little bit of fluidity on it because I agree. I feel like talking about is Shea Bolton going to get done for the same two picks that we've been talking about for 2 weeks now and then he gets done on the last day. It's like, that's insufferable. But if it just gets done straight away, it's like, yeah, fun.
Do you know, a part of it is Trade Radio, which is Croc Media's most successful. It has the most listens from any of their content.
I can't believe that. It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, that's what part of it, I think, is like because it's hyped up so much. And we have like every footy journo, like they love trade period. It's like their Christmas. And all these people working on it that are like, it almost tricks us into thinking it's a really big time.
Yeah. Well, a football game is 2 teams usually. And so that's only, and I'll stand by that.
Okay. Wow. Weird hill to die on.
Yeah,
but
that,
okay.
I believe that. But this period involves every team. You could argue that Brisbane don't care, but they still kind of do because they just want to hear people say nice stuff about Brisbane. But this, for 2 weeks, you can listen to the stuff that might peripherally be about your club, and you can't really say that for the rest of the year.
But even during the week they had Ben Brown on talking about the AFLW, which I love, but that's got nothing to do with trade. Cooper Hamilton was on to being like, what's next? And it's like, yeah, also, I did a whole piece about that. I'm interested in that, but...
It was a great article as well, Marns.
Thank you so much. But what's that got to do with trade period? You know what I mean? Like trade radio is just full of things that aren't related to trade.
Yeah, it's commercialized, eh?
Yeah. But everyone loves it and they make money off it, so whatever.
You talked to Tex Perkins as well for that.
I did.
Yeah, and that was good. I loved when Tex played for Melbourne. They were an absolute gun.
Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. They played, after they got delisted by the Crows, they played a very brief period with guns for us.
Oh.
And then they went up to the Gold Coast after that, I think.
Yeah,
no, because there
I
are
don't know
three
who
clubs.
this player is.
Sarah Perkins played for 3 clubs. She played for Adelaide, Hawthorn and Gold Coast.
No, stand by. I got this. I would...
If there was a fourth, that would be
because
crazy.
she went from Adelaide to Hawthorn VFLW, and from VFLW she was picked up by Gold Coast, and then by Gold Coast she came back to Hawthorn.
All I know is that Tex
and then she was delisted by Hawthorn. Oh my God, you're right.
So 4 clubs, or was there a missing one?
So
incredible. Broden knows his name.
I only know Melbourne players though, but I think it was a late delisting period, very brief period, but they're an absolute gun for us.
Yeah.
How did we get here? Oh, there are trades happening. Should we cross to Broden very quickly on the trade thing?
We should.
It's still a shot at Kane Corns, and he's kind of saying stuff. There's words Himmelberg coming across the bottom of the screen. Looks like it's all going great, and it's brought to them by Continental.
I thought Himmelberg had already gotten to Gold Coast as a restricted free agent.
Yeah,
it could just be that. Could be that. Like that finalised. I'm just going to get up the blog to see if there's anything. No, there's not.
How have you found this to be a flatter trade period than usual?
I enjoyed it just because I've started a new job and everything's felt very out of my control and I felt very unanchored. So it's cool just to be like, trades happening in the AFL world. I don't really need to bother with that because we have it covered. I can just focus on AFLW.
Yeah.
So I've liked it in that sense.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I guess we'll know more tomorrow, but it looks like everything happened. Shane Connors, is that his name, the player agent? Or Paul Connors?
He's the one, yeah.
There was a player agent today who said that the clubs have got more power than they've ever had before, which I don't really agree with. I think the opposite.
Yeah, that seems completely wrong. Like, look at Bailey Smith would be the perfect example of that's absolutely wrong. If he forces his way to Geelong.
Barris is contracted, Brioli's contracted, Houston is contracted. You would argue that the players have, if you're contracted, it doesn't really stand for much at all.
Absolutely nothing.
Unless you're a Melbourne player.
Yeah. The coach is contracted too, I think. Yeah. A lot of movement of contracted players.
So that's a strange thing to say, and I don't believe it. I think it's heavily imbalanced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that either of you have particularly cared about? I know a lot of people cared about West Coast giving up pick 3.
Oh, let's do that.
There was that pick swap between Essendon and Melbourne. You lost the Kosher. Is there anything that you guys cared about?
I'll just say as well, Bailey Smith is uncontracted. His contract ends this season.
That's why they can pick him up
he's
through
not
the draft.
a free agent, is he?
No.
Yeah. So, I think Bailey Smith thing has just gotten me hyped up. That's the only one I've really cared about, I think.
Yeah. I think the Port deal is really, really bad. Really bad.
So that's the Dan Houston one you're referring to?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, for a couple of players. Rory Atkins, Lukosius, and who else?
Well, that's who they're getting from us, right?
Joe Richards.
Yeah.
Joe Richards, yeah. It's repeating them. It appears to be repeating the mistakes of last year where they got a lot of middling players, which I really loved at the time. I loved Zirk Thatcher. I loved Asaba, and I was like, this is going to be good. And it didn't really work out for them. And I think they've even said that, Atkins is going to play a fair bit of VFL and come in for a bunch of games. I think they said that publicly. And it's just like, you've just taken 2 huge contracts off Gold Coast plate to really help them out for, I don't know. It's not very good.
No, it's a very, very bad. It's funny as well that Kane Corns, my favourite journey is the Kane Corns journey where it came out and then he contacted Port and they went, don't worry, that was never going to happen. And then they went, we're removing ourselves from this deal. And then the next morning they added, Collingwood added pick 50 to the deal and they went, now we're in. And the exact same deal. And Kane Corns just looked like that morning on his trade radio, he was saying, I was listening from Korea and he was saying that he's like, they were never going to do it. No, nowhere near. And then it happened exactly. I can't understand it. The main thing I've seen in as a thought from the other angle is people are overrating the difference between a pick 3 and pick 12 and how big a difference that is, because this is reportedly the strongest draft class in multiple generations. So they may just think at whatever we have, we're actually going to just be really, really fine, which we'll live to see. But even so, like, it's strange. It's interesting for me for Collingwood as well, because they are really going in on we're going to win the flag next year, because it feels to me from afar like they're just going for it, which is you absolutely should. But at the same time, there's probably a counter argument that you should build around Dacos and get a really young fleet that he can grow with and build with. But they don't have first round picks this year. They've got Houston, obviously, but he's a little bit older. They don't have first round picks next year, and they're just going to back themselves in to try and be the place that free agents want to go. But I think that will become less appealing once these 6 or 7 mid-30s players don't want to play anymore or don't play anymore. Pendlebury probably his last year. Sidebottom not far behind. Myercheck not far behind. And a bunch, Mason Cox and a bunch of others. So I don't know, interesting, but that you really got to back yourself in and say this is where every free agent will want to come.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, that, again, publicly, when I say I've seen people say things publicly, I mean, I saw someone tweet that they said this, so all we were going to solve, but he said, I want players, not picks. Like, we're going for players we want to win now, which, I guess if it doesn't work out, they will need to do a full rebuild, I guess. It's not like their young players, except for Nick, are particularly good.
Yeah. They've got a good little fleet, but also it's hard to know with a bunch of them as well.
Well, a lot of guys like Finlay McRae, you could argue, haven't worked out how they wanted to. A lot of the young guns have not worked out the way they wanted to, perhaps.
Thank you for pick 9.
You're welcome.
I think it's good.
Yeah, I think it's good for Essendon as well, because they're going to get that kid that they just keep talking about. What's his name? Isaac Kao?
Yeah.
Keiko?
Better not be KO, because that is a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
But everyone keeps just talking about how amazing he is.
Yeah.
And he's like already training with the boys. So
It was a genuine everyone win situation.
Yeah.
Men's strong draft.
Hey, you also got Harry Sharp from Brisbane.
Yes, very excited. Fastest 2K time trial ever or some shit
There
like
you
that.
go.
Yeah.
Couldn't crack into the Brisbane side. Love that. Love taking. Happened with the D's when we were really good. All our Toby Bedford and James Jordan and all these fringe players, they're actually good. I really like that. Richmond are stacked.
Oh, fuck. Poor. I mean, we knew that Richmond were going to lose all their players, but I mean, they're all picks, no players. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the best time to rebuild with Tassie coming in, I guess, right?
And this draft.
You want to time it right. So it could work out really well for them. A lot of pressure on the list manager.
A lot of pressure on the list manager.
Yeah, because they historically have not always drafted the best Richmond, which is fun.
Yeah.
Like everyone always talks about Tambling and going back a long time. So.
Dusty.
They got very good at pick 4. So, yeah, they've definitely had some wins as well. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, but it's going to be rough. It's going to be like a rough few years for poor old Richmond.
I was saying to a Richmond fan today, I was like, get ready for North Melbourne this year kind of energy, but feel like you're probably in the right position. You hope. Are there enough older players at Richmond now to stick around to help them sort of negotiate that?
I feel like there is. I'm saying that off nothing, but I think you've still got like Nank and Lynch and, they're the two that come to mind. But I feel like there's a bunch of, I mean, Taranto and Hopper should be leaders. They should be stepping up and setting examples as well. So, maybe they'll be all right and they'll have leaders there at least, but hard to say.
Yeah. And I'm sure like your morale would take a beating having all of these players who like you bond with. Obviously, they're your mates at this point. And want to leave.
Yeah. Yes, well, we'll know more. We can probably talk about it more next week. But yeah, what other news is there?
There's been a lot of AFLW bashing going on, which is really bugging me. It's really bugging me because there's a lot of context around the AFLW this year, and there's a lot of games that have been quite poor in quality, but there's a lot of reasons for that, like Essendon having 5 games in 19 days and the Bulldogs having 4 games in 14 days. So to have people, especially in the media, come out...
I saw Tony Jones do it.
Yes, just like to have people in the media come out just like once every few years just to bash on the AFLW, call it deplorable and unwatchable, and then just go back to not watching any games is so frustrating. It's like if you're going to speak about like the poor games, which like, okay, you're in the media, you have every right to talk about games that are bad, talk also about games that are good.
Yeah, I think Tony Jones, it says more about him and just lowers who he is as a person every time he opens his mouth with something like this. I think he's such a bad media person. He's he thinks of himself as a provocateur in the way he speaks, but he's actually just really shit. Exactly as you've said rightly, is your voice is not welcome or shouldn't be given much gravitas unless you are really engaged and you really are watching it and really are understanding the landscape of it. But also, like, it's as frustrating to the people who share the comment and post it up, and 3AW for going, making it a socials poke, knowing exactly what they're doing. The easy and base shit across the board, and it should be given no oxygen.
Yeah, I agree. And it also does give license to like the thousands of people that are dying to tweet about how shit AFLW is to do that based off nothing, based off watching no games, just because like it's fun to troll this league apparently.
Yeah.
And that's been, I think, really hard to watch and really disheartening to watch, especially because like I can imagine from a player being like, the game's actually quite good, but we played our 5th game in 19 days. Like, of course we're really tired. Of course the bus was parked. Like, we are developing, and when we're good, we're really good, and the stars are actually really exciting to watch, but you're just not giving it a proper chance.
So, Marnie, not many people are better positioned to give an opinion on what they would do to improve next year. So what would you do? You're your CEO, Chief Executive Officer. I was trying to think of another one. I couldn't think of anything. What do you do to improve next year?
Oh, you know what? I'm going to get hate for saying this. Stop adding rounds to the men's competition. Potentially, everyone complains about how long the season is. Take it back to 20 rounds, and then that cuts out the problem of AFLW not knowing where to put it.
So where would W start and where would it finish?
Well, I also don't get paid enough to have the answers to that.
Yeah.
It's just like because I get asked this question all the time. And even at the start of the year, I did a piece where I interviewed a lot of people, including like coaches and administrators and players and just a lot of shareholders being like, what is the vision here? And there isn't one. Like, no one knows. And that is so frustrating because like this league started in 2017. Like, of course you have periods of trial and error, but how... Now in 2024, do you still not know where to put the season? And why is it not set in stone yet? Like, how are you going to be able to build? And so I do think that like it can't run into cricket season because broadcast rights and also the pitches, not having anywhere to play, and also the heat. We know that the heat is a problem. You can't have players running around in 40-degree heat. So like it does have to push into the men's season a little bit. And I don't know, I was just having a really interesting conversation with someone, like one of my colleagues yesterday, about just like, because I was like, I am a fan of the WSL, but I also like study it from like a media perspective because I'm interested in like, well, why is this working so well? Like
Women's Soccer League? Yeah.
Women's Super League. So how are Arsenal selling out Emirates every single week? Like, how do they have average crowds that are they're above 6,000, which last season they were only 1,000. So how have they managed to like grow so much? And I'm not suggesting that this is why, but I do think it's interesting that the WSL is run by different people than the EPL is run by. So you don't have people being like, oh, how do we fit the WSL in around the EPL, the English Premier League? It's just treated as its own competition. And it's like, okay, well, this will work for the WSL and this is how we would make it thrive and this is how we would get crowds. And even just targeting different crowds because we know that different people go to the WSL that go to the English Premier League. But in the AFLW has to find its way to fit in around a men's season and competition where like the run-in and the build-up and the start of the season, you're competing with men's finals, and then the tail end, everyone's exhausted and you're targeting the exact same people. So
who's the new head of W?
Emma Moore.
Sorry to put you on the spot. Emma Moore. Is that role, that answers to Andrew Dillon from memory, is that right?
And Laura Kane.
So that would be, that makes a lot of sense to me. It's obviously still owned, but the idea of it's a completely separate situation where it's people waking up every day and going, what am I doing here? That makes complete sense.
Yeah. And so I don't know, but I do feel like it is frustrating that all of these questions of like, what do we do with AFLW? The first response is always like, yeah, but how is it fitting in around the men's comp?
Yeah. Instead, it should just not going in competition, but it should just be doing. It should be reacting to whenever the feedback is from its fan base. What sense of people are showing up for? What's this? And purely just reacting to that, as opposed to we're reacting to that plus what men's game is on that day. That's a very good point. Yeah.
And I really hope that the AFL have listened to all of the criticism around the condensed fixture and they're just not going to do it again because it clearly hasn't worked. It is frustrating that at the start of the season, the fixture was brought out, fans and the community were like, hang on a second. I actually don't think 5 p.m. games in Frankston on a Wednesday are going to be a good idea. I actually don't think that having 4-day turnarounds, especially for like it's not surprising that West Coast have run out of steam when not only do you have 4-day turnaround between games, but you're flying, like you're from Perth. And the AFL's kind of response to that was like, well, it's in school holidays. It's going to be a festival of footy. And the players are on board. So this is actually going to be a really exciting time. And it's like, well, you were told it wouldn't work and it hasn't worked. And it'd be really, and it's fine to experiment and things not work out. But it's not fun to then not listen to that.
There's fatigue both ways with it too.
Yeah.
And that there's fatigue with players obviously being tired and being more prone to injury and, going to very heavily defensive games, like a game that you both went to the other day. But then also, as a fan, like I don't have enough time to go to 8 Melbourne games a week.
Yeah, totally.
That makes no sense in either way for it. And most people don't want to watch a game every night of the week.
Yeah.
I was just thinking to myself then. I always think about everything through the lens of myself, right? And I'm trying to watch 9 games a week of the men's for this bloody podcast, right? And I'm always thinking I couldn't fit in 9 extra W games as well. Like I couldn't possibly. I already struggled to watch the 9 men's one for the pod. How could I watch 18? And I think like for an average fan, if you're like a diehard 40-year member of Adelaide, and there was an Adelaide W home game when the men's were playing away, I actually think people would just go to that, potentially. So maybe it's more about just, have it on at the same time, but just be really smart with the fixture. And when there's no game in Sydney, that's when you put the W Sydney games on. And maybe it's as simple as that, I don't know.
I mean, it's even just like, I remember all of these TikToks going around when the Matildas were really booming in the World Cup that were for, like women being like, oh, I actually do like sport. I just don't like watching men's sport. Yeah. And I was like, it's never been targeted to me before. And I was like, target those people. Like, why didn't you target those people? And now that's like ship sailed.
What I would love to see is innovation, and not be afraid to try things that might be a bit too risque to see in the traditional men's, where the tradition is so big. I think, at least in the short term, I'd love to explore tiered and just see how it goes, just because there is so clearly in this league 2 of quality of team, and the idea of the teams who are still developing working up to play even in this shorter period of time, and you can see some games in the short. But I think just in the period, try the condensed thing and see how big of a disaster. Don't what garners responses, particularly when you're trying to find your audience.
And just be transparent about it. Like, I think that's what like fans are most annoyed about, is they're like, tell us.
Yeah, what's the vision?
Just tell us what you're doing.
There's no DNA. Usually, like most good businesses or most good brands should be able to filter down to a sentence. I don't know. Do you know if the AFLW has done that?
No. Well, I think that they want to become the most watched and most played Australian sport domestically.
But if you went to acting school, they'd tell you you're end gaming, They're saying that's the result, but what's the DNA that helps you get there, Like
you figure out who you are and what you're about and what your audience like about you, and then
that happens naturally.
And then address that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't want to be too down about it, but it's also like we've only got 3 rounds left to go.
It's almost done.
It's also because it's like, okay, so we're going to wait all year for AFLW, and then it's going to be over like this. We're going to rush it through, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I'm sad that after 3 weeks' time, if like there are some teams, most teams won't make finals, and then I don't get to see them for 9 months. That makes me sad.
Yeah.
And I've had to kind of miss a lot as well because, you've had games on every single night.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
No, it comes and goes so quickly.
And it's something equally positive. We won't go into too much detail about the GWS potential player suspensions, because there's a lot of information that is still coming out about this, and it's hard to talk about allegations when they are still allegations, or potential suspensions why they're still potential suspensions. But I do think the interesting element to look at is
what happened. Just to give a bit of background on GWS.
Yeah, I will. Right. Is the way that this has been delivered to the audience, the fans, and the way that information is kind of just drip fed out. So up to 8 players from GWS are facing possible sanctions from the AFL for inappropriate behaviour at their Wacky Wednesday. So after they were eliminated.
Wacky Wednesday, I'm sorry.
I know, it does kind of take a bit of sting out of the seriousness of it.
Yeah.
And that is being reported as they went in costumes and performed inappropriate skits at the end when a lot of staff and coaches had already left, and it was an anonymous person that had reported it to GWS and the AFL, and the AFL are reportedly coming down really hard. So Toby Green is looking potentially at a $20,000 fine, not because he was involved in the skits, but for not showing leadership and putting an end to whatever it was that was going on. And it's also being reported that the skits involved a sex doll, and the costumes involved people like Jared Hayne, Josh Giddey, and like P. Diddy. So you can draw the conclusions about what the skits were potentially about there. And it is really disappointing. And it's disappointing because if it's true, I mean, it's not like these are bad things for AFL players to be doing, and I do think that AFL players are held to a higher standard than the rest of a lot of other young men, because the privilege that comes with being an AFL player, and you're also in the public. But if the things that are being reported, and if the AFL are coming down that hard, like those are potentially things that are really bad for just people to be doing.
Yeah, totally.
And so all of this drip feeding of information where it's just like, oh, it looks like the GWS players are facing sanctions. And then it's like we find out little tidbits about what that's involved, meant that the public reacts in this way. They're like, that's woke culture gone mad. Oh, well, if the bartender didn't like what was going on, the bartender should just leave. And we constantly say, like, we constantly have these campaigns and everyone jumps on board that if you see something racist, you speak out about it. If you see something sexist, you speak out about it. We had a minute of silence within the AFL men's season about like gendered violence and addressing gendered violence. And then you have potential player sanctions happened that address inappropriate behaviour, whether it was sexist, whether it was racist. We don't know yet the details. And then the biggest public response is, oh, that's just woke crap. That's just wokeness gone mad.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I think what happens with sport in Australia is it's one of the few things that most people have an eye to. So it becomes these, not these semiotics. The idea it becomes these moments of example where we can look to as a society and go, how do we respond to that? And because it's so widely spread, we get. But like if that happened at any workplace, they're all fired.
100%.
Right, exactly.
So that's the truth of it. But when you open it out to 100,000 people seeing post, then you get the marginal group, or maybe not marginal, maybe larger than it should be, group who go, no, I should be able to do that. But if you find anyone who's ever made anything of themselves in their life, or they ever are any role of boss or career or have family, anyone around them, any sense of fucking moral decency, they know that those people would be fired immediately.
Yeah.
And the fact that someone was offended at that party who works there is completely and utterly fair, and you shouldn't do that. Whether you're a football player and you're 21 and you don't know better, it makes no difference.
Yeah. And it is, I think, cool and good to see the AFL being really proactive about this, because historically you could argue that maybe they haven't been as proactive when inappropriate behaviours happened and hasn't been in the public yet. But to them to come down with such heavy sanctions, and I do think, because when the minute of silence was happening and they were like, we're going to take gendered violence seriously, and there was this sense of like, okay, but AFL, you have to back that up with action. Yeah. This is action.
The way that it got to me, and I could be wrong, but the first thing I heard about it is the punishment was being handed out before I heard that it got out. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't the AFL reacting and saying, well, now that people know about it, we'll do something.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. They were so proactive.
So that's good. It's the way I heard about it is people are being punished for being fucking idiots and being incredibly fucked. So yeah, that's at least good to hear that that's the way it is.
Yeah, and also I think if I was a GWS player not involved in this, I would be really, really fucking disappointed.
They've had like this is much on a different scale to their actual playing, but they look like they could be on the verge of imploding. Genuinely off finals where they should have won the flag to this back, like it's a real fork in the road for them as a club and a culture. Yeah.
I wish I had something really positive to bring to the table. It's Indigenous round in the AFLW coming up, and so the Guernseys are starting to come out, and they look sick. The Dreamtime match between Essendon and Richmond's going to be in Darwin. So I'm kind of jealous because I want to go to Darwin for a footy game, and also the atmosphere and the community, like that's so fun. But also I would die in the heat.
I'm sensitive about this as well, and I've been trying to figure it out for years, and I haven't done enough research. Is it wet season there? Because if it's wet season, you just can't play.
I don't know.
Has anyone looked into this? Can anyone from Darwin please let me know?
I have a friend in my Discord who plays in Darwin, and I'm pretty sure, their footy league's about to start.
Yeah, they play through summer because
they play
actually
through summer.
better.
So I think it actually is a good time.
There's a wet season, and you wish for death in the wet season.
Because my friend from Discord is going to play in NT, then move to Adelaide, and then play again in Adelaide. So it's like they're going to have 2 seasons in a row. So yeah, I think it might be a good time.
Yeah.
But then so is when the Suns win. So
yeah. When is this wet season?
When is the wet season?
Or maybe since the Suns have played and now Indigenous round, maybe in between that time it's been rainy season.
Rainy season. I don't know. Oh my god, this is so off topic.
What is wet season?
The book I'm reading. There was a phrase that they were just like out having a surf in Australia, like in a small coastal town, and then there was all these like little small fish.
Lockie Leonard? What are you reading?
I'm reading Appreciation by Liam Piper. It's one of my favourite Australian authors. Anyway, and there was all these like little small fish, and so one of the young boys goes, "Uh-oh." And he goes, "Oh, it's just when you see a lot of schooler fish like that, it means the water can get quite sharky."
Yeah.
Just like can get quite sharky. You just have such an Australian.
Yeah. And it's true.
Yes, I know it's true.
Like when you go out and you see a lot of fish, like, I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
That's cool, isn't it, that we know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharks.
If you weren't flying to Sydney and we didn't have so much on, I would suggest we do a Darwin game at some point.
Oh,
that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, we did a show there last year. I feel like I was there more recently than last
2021, was it?
No, 2022.
Yeah.
We should definitely take a tour to Darwin before Brisbane.
It's really, and I don't want to be controversial here, it's really hot there.
Yeah,
yes, I would die.
Yeah, really gross.
I don't do well in the heat.
A ton of Greeks up there too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a lot of cousins up there.
You have a lot of Greek food.
Yeah. It's really nice.
We should, go to your cousins, get a bunch of Greek food, and then go to the footy.
Yeah, I love it. It sounds perfect.
Can I ask with who are we locking in on North v Brisbane rematch for a grand final? Do we think North are much better than Brisbane now? Or is it too hard to know? Are there any late risers? Who do we think?
Hawthorn.
Yeah,
Hawthorn are really good. Also Richmond. So Richmond play Melbourne this weekend, and I'll be interested to see how that goes because Richmond have been actually looking really good.
Yeah.
And then these final 3 weeks will be big tests.
Yeah, 5th versus 11th. So this is a must win for Melbourne, I reckon.
Yeah. I think I don't know what happened with us there, but it.
We had no players for a bit, and now you got your players back.
Yeah.
Olivia Purcell is playing in like a full Batman mask. Very cool.
I'm really keen to get Maeve Chaplin on this podcast because can I tell you an embarrassing story I have about her?
Okay.
As I was at a shopping centre and I saw. I'm going to get the name right. I'm going to say Tyler Hanks.
Yep.
Tyler Hanks.
Bunnings ad.
I'm like, fucking hell, that's Melbourne's Tyler Hanks getting a boost juice. And they were with someone. And I walked up and went, "Excuse me, you Tyler Hanks. I'm a 35-year-old man. I'm a big fan. You're fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for my boost juice, maybe my green tea mango mantra, or maybe a gym junkie or a choc muscle hustle.
Ooh.
I don't know. But
choc muscle hustle.
and I'm talking like, yeah, great. Congrats on last season. Da-da-da-da-da. And the person with them's just politely standing there, and I go, "Do you play football as well?" And she said, "Yes, I play for Melbourne." And I went, "I'm so fucking sorry. I'm so fucking sorry." And they turned out to be Maeve Chaplin, who is...
You have a wrong to right.
Yeah, and not only does she play for Melbourne, she's a fucking gun.
Yeah, she is,
one of our absolute best players off the back line. So I messaged her the other day and said, "You are the best player in the world." But I'd need to maybe bring... both of them in for some boost juices.
Yeah, that's a great
that would
idea.
be cool.
Yeah.
Get boost juice on board.
I like the watermelon one.
My laptop's gone dead. The watermelon one.
I had a lychee one the other day. That was okay.
Yeah.
Because there's a Boost Juice van at Windy Hill.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
See, that is...
Makes
That's
up for the shit house chips.
If I was running W, that's what my sentence, my refining to a sentence would be Boost Juice at the games.
Yeah.
That is the vibe you want. Australian bogans love nothing more than a fucking Boost Juice.
Yeah. I could have gone to Boost Juice the other night at the footy, actually.
Oh, okay.
Everyone was having a drink and I just needed a Boost Juice.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
I got ID'd at the footy.
Yeah, it was funny.
I know. Well, also, correct. When you said you can walk around Australia with just your phone, I can't, because the other day for the NRL Grand Final, I was like, I'll get Dad's like a bottle of Bundy. And I only had my phone on me, which I thought, no problem. And they ID'd me and I was like, oh, can I Google myself and show you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't give me a job if I was under 18. And they're like, no, sorry. Like, you look really young. And I was like, I don't look 18 though. And I know that like you ID under 25, but even like, I don't look 25.
But Marnie, I'm sorry if you know this already, but and I would love to, say this for our audience as well. You know that you can now get a digital bubbles on your phone.
Yeah, I don't have to do it. It seems like admin.
Vic Roads, you just open it up.
You sound like you need it because then you got carded at the W game as well.
I got carded at the W game.
Which is so funny because Lucy was going to get the drinks, but she forgot her ID.
Yeah.
And she's 21. So we're like, we'll send Marnie instead.
Yeah, this old bitch. Off you pop.
All right, Tom, let's get tipping.
Tipping. Tipping.
I'd love to very quickly go through the ladder.
Awesome.
As we are we halfway through a round now, by the way?
No.
No, because condensed fixture is over. Done.
Great. So we have in last Gold Coast.
I know.
Gold Coast
I'm
Suns.
well aware.
Dead last. Do they have an academy going?
Yes. Yeah. A lot of the players are locals.
68,000 young people play AFL in Queensland.
Yeah,
Did you know
yeah.
that?
It's
Reportedly
really
the
good.
highest sport
Yeah.
played. Collingwood second last. GWS third last. Doggies fourth last, which is not bad for how young they are actually to get 2 wins away.
Yeah, really good, I think.
Swannies have dropped right off. There was really good energy for them and they just have not.
They have no players left.
Same as Geelong, to be honest.
I know. I had hopes of Geelong.
Carlton doing Carlton things, being 3 wins for the Melt D's, 11th West Coast, which is huge for them to be on 16 points. I think that's fantastic for them. Port as well. Then the top 8, there's some great teams here to talk about.
Yeah.
In the top 8, St Kilda.
Had a really good start. Teetered a little bit.
They were top of the
We'll see.
ladder.
Yeah,
They may have just run out of steam.
we'll find out.
The opposite of the men's in that they're going to end badly as opposed to Essendon Bombers at 7th.
Yeah,
Great
but
news.
we play North this weekend, so a big percentage boost coming our way.
Yeah. Prisparkas has been good, yes.
Yep. Bonnie's back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Bonnie was out
Bonnie
6
too
to
good?
8 weeks with a MCL strain with the knee. Got back within 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Wouldn't read about it.
I was very shocked to see her on
Captain
Friday.
behaviour.
Yeah.
A friend of the pod behaviour.
Although, because I was yelling every time Bonnie had the ball, and then Lucy, because we got given pride packs by the dogs, which included like the player heads, and so she would get Dee Berry's head out when Bonnie, and she was like, "But isn't this that player that you keep yelling
Yeah,
about?"
you
I'm
had
like,
the
"No,
player on the pod.
put it away."
D Berry, friend of the pod.
Well, yeah. Also, that was cool. Lucy was like, "I'm a bit starstruck knowing that they came on our podcast." I was like, "Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool."
Frio at 6th.
Freo, yeah,
Yeah.
Good.
Richmond at 5th.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
On equal points with Adelaide in 4th.
Yeah,
Brizzy, in 3rd.
yeah.
Hock at 2nd. And then Ruse out 2 points clear in number 1.
With a 313 percentage.
Yeah. So that's just,
We get it.
it could be Sydney-esque. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In that they
Yes,
just
yes.
shit the bed at the end.
Yeah, they could. I thought, yeah, totally.
But they just don't look like they're going to do that.
In the lineage of AFLW, though, this team does need a flag.
Yep.
Yes.
They really need one.
And
For Carney.
yes, for Carney, who
And
is injured with a hamstring.
It would annoy me a little bit if Libby Birch has got another one, jump into another club and just got 3 flags in with 3 different clubs. That'd piss me off a little bit.
Yeah.
But man, I was listening to her on the Age podcast, and she's such a good media performer.
She is.
She's fucked.
And she'll give proper opinions too.
Yeah, she's a
which is-
physio. So
Yeah.
she's like, this is what that injury is.
Yeah. like, go.
Yeah. No, we should get Libby Birch on. Yes. Okay, so let's talk through the game, shall we?
Yes.
Well, first game is Thursday night, which is tomorrow, or tonight if you're listening to the podcast, and thank you for listening. We had a record month. We last month. Huge numbers. They've never seen numbers like this. It's unbelievable. It's a beautiful thing. 3 weeks to the election, by the way. Jesus Christ.
I know.
Yeah.
Carlton Doggies. I'm going to America next week, by the way.
Yeah.
You're going everywhere.
Ditching the pot again.
Yeah.
Maybe I should try and get in on the mic and do a little broadcast from over there from Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah, but it'll be like 2 a.m. in the morning, won't it be? No, it'll be perfect time.
You'll be like, hey, Broden, did you know this about the footy? I'm like, everyone's got a gun!
yeah, and it's midday over there. So, yeah, you can... No, it's midnight.
Okay.
We'll see how we go. Or I can do a little report for you. Carlton Bulldogs, 12th versus 15th, Icon Park. You go Carlton win this, I guess?
Well, that's not certain for me. I mean, Carlton should win this, but Carlton being Carlton. And the Dogs, they're not that bad. They really aren't, especially for, being such a young team, but they're playing with a lot more, energy and confidence. Yes, they played 2 spare behind the ball against Bombers and just parked the bus, but that's because they were so fatigued.
Yeah, but the game plan worked until the last quarter, so you could argue it was, as far as game plan goes, it was a good call.
Dogs could win this.
The way Dee Berry talked about her team as well, in that they were like, my job is to rev all the young girls up and get them excited. And it's just I think we talked to Dee just before they went and played North, and it was a massacre. But it was that mentality was there of every week we show up and we give it a crack.
Yeah.
So they're in the right. You feel like they're building in the right way.
Yeah.
Power Saints.
Yeah, this would be a good one. I've gone Port, especially because it's at Alberton. But I hope this is close and good.
I'd love to see the Saints in the finals. So
Sure.
I'd love to keep pushing. I'm going to see the Saints.
Back in the Saints for sure.
Did you see when I had Georgia in here and Dee Berry, but then with 9th versus 11th
Yes.
was playing? I had to address it.
Did you see someone put a meme on Reddit about that?
No.
Because you did. You fumbled the joke very bad. It was clear that you were you wanted to go for it, but you're like, we have guests.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Respected guests.
but I had to mention it.
You had to mention it, so you sort of half did it.
Because that's the 9/11 date.
Yeah. It's your favourite day.
Saturday 19th, Hawthorn versus Giants. So Hawthorn should just
Smash this.
flog.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Poor Giants.
Suns, Swans.
Yeah. You might get your first win,
I have
Tom.
intel on this, guys.
Yeah.
We were so much better against Brisbane on the weekend.
Cool.
So...
Sorry. I love that your intel is
we
watching
were much
the game.
better.
Yeah.
We were much better.
I have insider intel.
That's my
We were
scoop.
not horrible.
That's my
I have
scoop.
leaked rumours.
Yeah. And Taya Oliver kicked 2 goals and it was exciting, and it was just like, oh, okay. And I don't know if it's because Q Clash thing,
Yeah.
basically Gold Coast is closer to Springfield than Brisbane is, so it's basically a home game, or we've finally turned on, so it'll be good to find out. But I'm backing in Suns to get a win.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
go the Suns. I'll go the Suns,
Yeah.
whatever.
I will say Sydney weren't bad against, the scoreline showed Sydney being absolutely smashed by North last weekend, but they actually weren't bad in the contest. They just
True.
can't go goal.
Melbourne, Richmond, Casey Fields. A must win for the D's.
Yeah, and a very important one for Richmond if they want to finish top 4.
Yes.
Who's your MVP this year? Who's going to win it?
Oh my goodness. I do think Ebony Marinoff is the front runner, and about time as well, because she's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, breaking records every week, right?
Yes, and it's usually her and Anne Hatchard will still vote off each other, but
Yeah, right.
Ebony's just had a phenomenal season.
Yeah.
Everything you're saying says to me they'll win it next year. And then Jazz will win.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
I think, was it 40 disposals last game and record contested, I think, as well.
And tackles, a crazy amount of
incredible.
tackles as well. Yeah.
Yeah, totally crazy.
Yeah,
Marinoff.
fantasy points. If you had her as captain, you got 660 points last week.
Yeah.
Saw that on Twitter.
It's almost
incredible.
the devil's number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also Ella Roberts, sneaky. Everyone's been hyped, starting to put tickets on her as a potential. She plays for West Coast and is
19 years old.
Yeah. a
Born in
baby.
2004.
Yep.
Charlie been tagged a little bit. Otherwise, I'd still back in Charlie Robon, but just been a little quiet. Got tagged on the weekend quite well.
When you Google Ella Roberts, 2 movies come up.
Oh,
A movie called Submerged.
cool.
There's no way she was an actor, is there? That's surely not.
No. It would be a different Ella Roberts. It's like how the Essendon coach is Natalie Wood,
Yeah.
Oh, literally.
Yeah, true.
not
someone-
renowned Hollywood actress.
You know, was it Jasmine Smith?
Jazzy Smith, yeah.
Jazzy Smith was an actor, so
Yeah.
Nickelodeon girl, and then is
Yeah.
on the Doggies was at the Sun, so it could be.
And
True.
Ariana Grande was in Disney stuff. And what's her name? She lived a double life.
Oh, Hannah Montana.
Yes.
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus.
Yeah. But Miley Cyrus doesn't play W as far as I'm aware.
Hilary Duff.
Doesn't play W.
But I thought we were just talking about child actors.
No.
Macaulay Culkin.
I'm just saying it's possible.
Speaking of child actors, though, I found out, Tom, you love Sabrina Carpenter.
I do like Sabrina Carpenter.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
I think-
Bedcam's your favourite song.
Yeah. So I think
What's this?
in general, to explain, in general, I don't connect with pop music.
Yeah.
I don't like most pop artists. They don't connect with me. Not that I think they're bad. It's just not my cup of tea. But then every now and then I'll connect with a pop song or a pop artist and I'll just get obsessed with it. And yeah, Bedcam is my favorite song.
He's a cute boy.
No, I'm not doing it on pod, Marnie.
Okay, well, I've got a video of
She's
Tom
got video of
singing
me
the song.
singing it, so she can hold me for ransom now.
I have no idea what any of you are talking about.
It's Sabrina Carpenter.
I just looked up this person, Sabrina Carpenter. They're 152 centimeters tall.
Yeah,
Are they
4'9",
really?
tiny.
Teensy tiny.
Teensy tiny.
Yeah, I think you'd like a couple of songs, Broden. You
I
like
think
pop
I know
music.
them. What's
It
that
was the
one?
song that I was
Espresso.
singing. I've been singing it all day.
Yeah.
No, you sing that Hot to Go.
Yeah, but not today. I wasn't singing
Yeah,
it
you
today.
were singing the I'm a
I'm
Singer
working
bit.
late because
'Cause
I'm a singer.
But have you heard the new Linkin Park song?
No.
Well, they're back.
They're back.
Okay.
So we're all back in Suns.
Yeah. I've actually gone Sydney and also we've
We're
moved
talking
past
about
that.
D's. We're talking about D's Richmond. I tip D's.
I've tipped Richmond.
Hey, we've got a derby on our hands here
We do.
at Sullivan Logistics.
Did you say
Yeah,
the
because
right
this
word?
was originally the only game at a big stadium. So this was scheduled for Optus Stadium, but has already been moved.
Classic.
Classic.
Freo.
Eagles.
Yeah.
Eagles.
It could
Eagles.
honestly, this could be a really, really good game. Either side could win.
Yeah.
I've gone Freo, but like Eagles could.
Saturday night. Chuck on the telly. Watch it.
Yeah.
You beauty.
Sounds like a plan.
What are you going to do? What else are you going to do? Go out and see Joker Po de Dolly Fo le Dolly? No. No one's seeing that.
No.
Nah,
No one likes
No.
it.
no interest.
I'm not
Joker
doing that.
Fo de Dolly. I think I got to see it, but
Yeah.
But not on Saturday night.
no. I mean, after. It's a quick game. That's the great about the W. It's over in 2 hours.
Yeah,
We've got a
that's
late
true.
screening of
It's the
Joker
best.
Fo de Dolly, or whatever it's called.
Genuinely the best. When we were out the other night, I was
I've
like,
heard it's not good.
Lucy, I'll get you home by 9:30. Don't you worry. And sure enough,
Does that have anything to do with Joker the Fo
no,
de
just
Dolly?
with how quick the W games are, it's great.
Is Lady Gaga Harley Quinn?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's funny to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the cats take on the lions.
Yeah.
I went to a cat cafe in Korea.
Oh, did you like
Quick
it?
story. Yeah, well, one beautiful cat. I've got photos of it. One cat came up to me and then came up here. I'm allergic to cats. I want to know why I went to the cat cafe.
Yeah.
I went up and jumped to put its hands on my shoulder and then started to like lick my ear and in here and just give him big cuddles. And I was like, this is really nice, a really affectionate cat. And then another cat came up to me and sprayed piss on my arm and marked its scent on my arm.
Oh,
Cool.
God.
And I was
They
like,
liked you.
yeah, it was warm.
Okay, that's horrible.
Brisbane
Yeah,
Brisbane for sure.
at GMHBA.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Brisbane.
Do you know apparently at GMHBA they've put in crowd sound, crowd cheering?
I did know that.
Why do they do that?
Why not?
It's fake.
Yeah, it's a bit
Yeah, I mean,
weird.
I just-
It's an
I don't know.
odd choice for sure.
Yeah, it's a bit Ashley Simpson on SNL in 2004.
Yeah,
know what I mean?
that's very weird. I don't know why you would do that.
Windy Hill, Bombers North. A lot of Windy Hill games this year, but you know, it's a vibe and a half.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they done anything about the chips?
We'll find out on Sunday.
Yeah.
You should.
Full review incoming.
Are you going to go to this Sunday game and watch your team get
Yeah.
taken to task?
Yeah.
Welcome
Yep.
back, Bonnie. Here's North.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shookers.
And then Collingwood Crows at Vic Park, which is also a fair vibe.
I love Vic Park. Yeah, I wish that these weren't overlapping because I would love to go to a Vic Park game. But I will be going to Windy.
Makes
Crows,
sense.
Yeah.
Crows.
Crow's pretty
Crows
easy, I
for
think.
sure, yeah.
And that's been another episode. Tom's about to go off to Sydney for
Yeah, I
Grouse
gotta
House
go.
Festival.
See you later.
What do you guys take? Any last questions or thoughts? I'll be in Los Angeles next week, unfortunately, but I'll drop in for the pod, hopefully.
I'll see if I can get some off-air questions out of you, or whether that's it. No further questions.
We can't talk to Broden anymore.
I'm a closed book. But then I'll be back ready and raring to go the week after we finish off the season, go into the finals.
The finals preview, or will it be round 10 preview?
I don't know. It's hard to know.
Week 8, and then you'll be away for week 9, it'll be week 10.
And no bye round for before finals, is there?
No.
Can we have
that will be our 200th episode as well.
Jesus.
Can we get like a cake or donuts or something?
Yes, if you can organise that, Marnie, that would be great.
Tell me the date and I will.
Cream sandwiches.
Not doing.
It's the same time every week, Marns. Wednesday around 5 to 6 to 7.
No, which I wasn't listening. Which is the 200th episode?
I think it's 198 today. So
in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If you're live streaming us, I implore you to please go and give your support now to Trade Radio. They need you.
Yeah, should be wrapping up just about now.
No,
Come say hello at Windy Hill game. Come to Windy Hill.
Come say
hang
hello.
out with me.
Windy Hill.
We saw lots of lovely people. We ran into heaps of people, like friends, family members, lots of fans. It was really nice.
It was really nice. Someone gave me Maisie Peters' friendship bracelet, and I really loved it.
I have I've done something with all my bracelets at home that I will bring in and make part of the set.
Love.
Because I've got a bag full of them.
Yeah, bring them in. We'll do something with them. They can cover up the holes.
Yes. Okay. Oh my god, that would be cool. Like a little mosaic of them.
Just Tom in bracelets, just as a mural.
And it is also very funny because my bracelets all have they say bounce that quill or yarns with Marns, and all your bracelets say 9/11.
They did. But I didn't make the bracelets.
No.
Well, people were reacting to the vibes we give.
No, I don't. My vibe is 9/11. Oh no. Lovely to see you both.
Likewise.
Zilla mug.
This is my plain white mug.
I forgot we got to say the biggest news we haven't even talked about is our Instagram has a blue tick now.
Has a blue tick.
So we are legit AF.
Yeah, our opinions are verified.
Yeah, and I can really go for it now and start doing conspiracy theory stuff. Like I can really go for it.
Yeah.
I know we've grown. What did we start at the start of the year? We were like...
I think we were like 6,000 or something. Yeah. So I think we're up 10,000, I reckon.
In a year.
You're up to 16,000.
Yeah, because of your reel where you handballed.
Yeah, it was really good, Mums.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Enjoy the footy. Enjoy the last 12 minutes of Trade Radio, and we will see you next week. Ish, bounce that pill.
Great.
And thank you, everyone, for watching and staying with us. My laptop went dead.
Yes, yeah. We don't know what the people are saying.
Yeah.
Look on your phone.
I've been watching Shogun. Just want to talk about seppuku again.
Okay.
Man, they love seppuku. They're so quick on the seppuku.
Well, I started watching Shogun, but I wasn't in the headspace for something heavy.
You go rare. It's really... Do you know what it is? It's based on a book.
Yeah.
So it's real storytelling. It's not like a TV show that was written last year, so it's got these weird cliffhanger and then gets shit about round 7, about episode 7. TV's gone a bit shit. So it's kind of good in that regard.
I've just watched Attorney Woo, and I think that is so good. Also, I love watching K-dramas and stuff because I don't speak Korean, so I can't just pick up my phone and start absentmindedly doing stuff.
Yeah.
I have to pay attention.
Just want to get a comment that's just come up as from Essence saying my dad passed, was a Bombers man as his great grandpa, the inaugural Don's board member, best to the Windy Hill Marns. That's nice thought, worth mentioning.
You should come.
Yes, beautiful oval. Not a lot of car parks.
No.
Ours the car parks at Doggies. It was all right.
Yeah. All right, we'll get out of here. Tom is packing up the room. He's got to go. He's got to board a plane.
Yeah,
thanks, guys.
Flying, otherwise I would not stress.
We'll see you later. Bounce that pill.
I got to end the stream.
Yeah. I'll pack it. Tom.
Yeah.